Good morning, everybody. Happy Wednesday, hump day, FOMC day. Very exciting day. Lots of volatility to be expected. Let me make sure that I send this through. Live stream starting. So, right now, Fed is expected to do a 25 basis point rate hike. That is not the right link at all. Whoopsies. There we go. Fixed. So, Fed is expected to do a 25 basis point rate hike. That is supposed to be the rate decision at 2 p.m. With an 87% chance of that as of this morning. So, pretty much that's in the bag. The off chance that we get any guidance of further rate hikes could create some turbulence in the market, though. Yesterday, the odds of going another 25 basis points up actually ended up dropping from, I think it was like 30% a couple days ago to just actually zero, and now it's at 5.5%. So the markets are starting to reprice that extra 25 basis points in after getting rid of it entirely yesterday. So lots of volatility in the bond market going on right now. It's been pretty wild. If you're watching the yields, the 10-year is right below 3.4 as of right now. I think if the Fed does signal the pause, that will probably bring the yields down, which usually would send the markets up, especially like QQQ. Whenever interest rates are going down, that benefits the high growth tech stocks. So I would think if they don't signal any sort of further rate hikes for June or beyond, then there's a possibility that the markets do go up today, especially after yesterday's free fall. We were down like 1.5% at one point. So it's a pretty bloody market, but right now markets are trading very flat. SPY is down like 0.2, 0.3%, or sorry, up 0.2%. So not really much change. Right now I'm looking at RSI, currently below 50. So that is a bearish start. And I've been using a strategy where I'm waiting on some consolidation for the markets within like a 15-20 minute range. I'll buy a put or a call option based on RSI. That is your momentum indicator. And then trying to get the options at the cheapest price possible based on the range. It's been working out pretty well for me. I set like a 10-cent stop loss, and then I'll let the momentum carry if it does. And usually I can make like 200, and I'm risking 100 if my stop loss is 10 cents. So it's a very tight stop loss, I would say, but if you can catch the momentum, definitely a lot of profit potential there. But right now, I would definitely be looking at puts first thing in the morning. Right now, we're at 411.38, so I would probably look at the 412 puts that expire today. This is a zero data expiration strategy, by the way. So the 412 puts already going for pretty expensive, actually. So can't really use those. I usually try to get these at like 120 a piece, but very, very expensive today. Probably just because of the implied volatility with the FOMC coming in soon at 2 p.m. But again, bearish start right below 50 RSI. So my plans, if we had consolidation, is try to buy this at like 172, right about where it's at right now. Set my stop loss for like 162. And then if the momentum carries to the downside, then that would print. But I'm going to wait a little bit here. See what we get out of this first 5-10 minutes first. Because we are close to 50 RSI, so you can always have that reversal very quickly. Especially first thing in the morning. Very possible. Why don't I use TradingView? I don't want to pay a $30 subscription when I can do Thinkorswim basically for free. You just have to have money with Thinkorswim, and you can trade with it, and view their charts instead. But yeah, it looks like we pulled back. These contracts were going for 170. Now they're 179. Still bearish. So I'm going to try to pick them out with my stop loss at 160. Well, let me see. I also opened a AMD call credit spread that's up this morning. $144, so I can take profits on that. There's another $20 I can make out of it, or $30 since they're trading at 10 a piece. AMD down 6% after their earnings report, where they ended up coming out with pretty poor guidance for Q2. So let me, I meant to close all three of that, or all four of them. Okay, well. 0.09. Yeah, okay. Got out of those trades first thing this morning. So that for me was about $140 or $130 of profit. All right, closing options alert, premium. Just took profits on the AMD 90-91 strike prices. Call credit spread expiring this Friday, which is May 5th. And I was able to get out at 9 each after I originally opened those for 172 total over 43. So 43 minus 9, 34 times 4, $136 of profit. Didn't go heavy on that position. I think I risked like 200. So, but let's try to get in on this put option before we get any major action going on. So let's do SPY puts expiring today, May 3rd. It looks like we might have already missed that opportunity. I would like the 412 puts, but they're $230, very pricey. So I'd rather get the 411s. They don't have a stop loss order. They have a stop limit for Robinhood. And that's what I didn't like about this. If they had a proper stop loss order, then I'd be comfortable with it. I've been using this strategy on Thinkorswim, and they have the market orders to where you can just buy and sell like that, which makes this a lot easier versus, having to type these in. Makes it very tricky to get in and out of quickly, and you have to be able to get out quickly with this strategy. Otherwise, you can lose $200 just as quickly as you can gain $200. But let me see. I want to get them at 170. I don't think I'll be able to now that we're dropping. But RSI is below 50 at the moment. So that's in our favor. Good morning, Kamala. ICT, SME. Let me see. Not sure. SME. Not sure what those are. Small and medium enterprises and ICT. So I'm assuming like small caps and mid caps maybe is what you're saying. And yeah, you can. With small caps and mid cap stocks, if that's what you're talking about, you will have a lot more volatility in them, and the bid-ask spreads for your options are going to be wider just because less people will trade them. All right. Right at 49 RSI. These are going for 170 now. Missed that shot. But yeah, you can see how these fluctuate a ton, especially in these like tight little ranges that you get. If I was able to snag them at 170 now, they would be 181 for like 100 profit. And then the idea, is to ride those into the momentum. Momentum is still down at 40 on the RSI. So these contracts would be like 190 if we get a decent sell off outside of this range. But first 10 minutes, pretty flat. Still waiting to get into these contracts. The cheapest that these contracts got was actually 166. Do I have a open live account or paper to use for technical analysis? Yeah, you have to have some deposit into the account. Like this account, I only have like $100 in it, right? So just because I have at least $100 or really any amount is fine. You can start using Thinkorswim for your charts. And you don't even have to trade with it either. You just have to have the deposit there. All right. Here we go. Now we're pushing above 50 RSI, so don't have the confidence to enter this trade. Just based on the strategy that I'm using, it's not worth it. Now the momentum could be shifting to the upside. That is the problem with opening it now. Although they are cheap, 165 a piece, you set your stop loss 10 cents lower. If it comes below 50 RSI, then that strategy would work. But we're just right at the cusp of 50 RSI. That's the problem. We touch that high again. I'll give it another 5 minutes and see if we can open this. And if we have a more clear direction, that would be helpful. And the thing about this strategy is it's not like purely, well, I guess it is purely bullish or bearish based on calls or puts, but it's very flexible to where you can either enter calls or puts based on the RSI, which is kind of what I like about it. Previously, I would enter too many bearish trades. So having that flexibility of being a bull or a bear in this market and just following whatever momentum is doing has been very helpful. I've been running the strategy using Thinkorswim's on-demand feature for the past 2 weeks, and usually I put in like $1,000 per trade, and so far that strategy has net me like $1,500 in profit. So can be very good. But you need a clear direction first, so that's what we're going to wait on. AMD is down 7.5%, down to the lowest expected at 83. So pretty rough day for AMD. I would have expected that much of a sell-off, but their earnings showed kind of weak guidance for the second quarter. And pretty much any weak guidance like we saw for Amazon, any shaky guidance gets sold off very heavily in this market recently. Like Amazon, initially they were doing really good after they beat earnings, beat revenue, but then they ended up selling off majorly just because their Q2 guidance wasn't very clear. So same thing happened with AMD. Their stock ended up falling by about 7% post earnings. Does a strategy have a name? I don't have a name for it. Kind of just thinking of calling it like 10-cent stop loss or something like that. It's a very small stop loss, but the gains out of it can be very lucrative if you can follow the momentum. But basically you have to have a very tight stop loss. Like 10 cents in this market with zero data expiration options is very, very small. Like you can see an option move 10 cents in like a second. So you have to be on it very quickly. So far we're looking bullish though. So I would probably switch over to the calls. We're at 52 on the RSI. So that is confirming bullish sentiment. So we're going to switch over to probably a 411 call. Usually I'll go like one strike price in the money. Right now these are going for 235. The lowest that they've been this morning was 215. We don't really have a range as of yet, but I would probably open these somewhere close to like 225, I'm thinking. So 411 calls at 225. That is kind of a pricey option though. If I do the 412 calls, that'll make it cheaper, but those are out of the money and they're still $180, so they're still pretty expensive. But as we go to the next price level, I'll usually adjust up just so you can get those options a little bit cheaper. And for the 412 calls, you're looking at buying them at roughly 173-ish based on this first 15 minutes of trading. Let's see. 412 is the strike price we're looking for on the calls. So I'll open 10 of them. And again, ideally we can get these below 173, maybe as low as 170 if we're lucky here. All right. And as you can see, these have already moved like 5-10 cents. All right. Back below 50 on the RSI, so still no confirmation of a trend, but these are going for 170. They were down to 171, so I missed that trade. And that reversed right back up. So now we can either buy in now, which is more risky, buying into the momentum because then it can stall out and you can hit your 10-cent stop loss very quickly, or we can wait for a pullback. But yeah, this is a much easier strategy to use with Thinkorswim with their market orders. You can just buy and sell these with these little buttons right here. So it's probably what I'm going to do over the next couple of days. Probably deposit some money into this, try the strategy out with Thinkorswim. Has been very successful, but Robinhood, it's a bit too slow for my taste. The order process just isn't nearly as quick as the buttons that you can use for Thinkorswim. All right, they're going for 178 now. Still no confirmation of this trend. It's like right at 50 RSI. It's barely bullish. So I think I'm just going to wait on it. But these first 1, 2, 3, 4 candles have all been green, so definitely looking positive on the candlesticks. Not so much for RSI as of yet. Don't have full confidence in the trade, so I'm not going to take it. All right. I would say now we're solidly above 50 RSI. So now I'll put in the order for 178. Probably not going to get filled on it. But I'll put in my limit order for that. All right. Yeah, already taken off without me, so not able to get into that trade. But yeah, now they're trading at 190, 191. Firmly bullish at 58 RSI. So ideally, we could have got in at 50 on the RSI, but didn't want to take my chances. So now we'll just wait for another consolidation. Wait for SPY to just pause for usually like 15, 20 minutes. And then place a new order. How's it going, Wonder Spots? But yeah, the idea is to get in before the momentum takes off. So if I was able to get those at 178, now they're at 198. So you're risking, $100 if you're setting your stop loss to 10 cents to make 200 possibly. So far, from what I've experienced, I've had about a 50% success rate with it. So not great in terms of, our success rate, but the potential, profits is a lot greater, especially if you're carrying the option into the momentum. Like right now it's at 204. So now we'll wait for a pause. We're firmly above 50 RSI, so I don't have any problem picking momentum now. Might have to go with a 413 strike price. Let's see. I don't think I would want to go that far out of the money. And this is a very quick strategy too. Like you can be in and out of the strategy usually within like 5 or 10 minutes. Can you see the trend of momentum before the market opens? Yes, you can, but it's not always accurate, right? So we were below 50 RSI for like an hour before, but then as soon as market opened, we ended up switching to bullish momentum. So we were bearish for the last hour, but then we ended up reversing that sentiment. So you can always see a change in sentiment as soon as the market opens, just because there's, you know, a different demographic that's buying it in the pre-market usually than people buying it in the open market. There's a lot more volume to it. So trading on low volume isn't a very good indicator of bullish or bearish. But now you can clearly see that this is very bullish with it at 70 on the RSI. And now these are going for 232. So again, just clearly showing that very low risk if you're setting your stop loss and very high potential reward if you're carrying into momentum. $15 minutes in candle QQQ pre-market, then 9 out of 10 times it'll go after the market opens. Let's see. Yeah, not too sure about that. I mean, there's just such low volume in the pre-market, it's hard to really judge the consensus and where the markets are actually headed next. Definitely a lot of volume piling into these call options right now. So usually if there's a lot of volume behind a call or a put option, that will kind of trigger more people to buy in. Just mechanically, if the options, the people that are selling the options to the people that are buying them, they have to start hedging their positions by buying the calls in order to sell them at the strike price that they choose. So once you see SPY going above 412, you'll see the market makers or the people selling the options starting to buy in, which will put further pressure to the upside. Let me see. And you can always compare the calls and the puts too. Let me see if I can. Look at them separately. All right, so we'll look at SPY up here on top, red. Make sure I have my styles correctly. So I would want to look at a call option and a put option with around the same strike price. So the 412 is what you would want to look at. Maybe the 413 put. You want to look at in the money options, just because that's when the market makers have to start hedging, is when that option is in the money. So let's see if we can manage that. Let me make sure the styles are the same. And then we want to look at the 412 calls as well. So both of these options are slightly in the money. That's not right. I'm not sure why it's... There we go. Okay. So volume is about the same for both the calls and the put options right here. So no real decisive move based on the market makers. There's actually a little bit less volume on the 412 call. So they might have more incentive to sell SPY as of right now, with the 413 puts being more popular. Slightly though. Let's see. I wish I could see the volume up here. Would be nice, but anyway. All right, we're starting to slow down here, so you might get 5-10 minutes of consolidation and then your next move. All right, 412, looking for calls. We're going for 22, so I'd be spending 2,200. So doing this on an FOMC day can be very expensive. That's what I don't like about this right now. Oh, I'm looking at the weekly chart. No wonder the volume is roughly the same. Yeah, there's a lot more 412 calls being bought right now. All right. Nice little solid pullback. Bringing these down to 210. On the first move down. But usually I'll give it like 10-15 minutes. Let me make sure I have my RSI. I mean, clearly we're still bullish. That should be pretty obvious that we're above 50 RSI. But you would want to watch for any downside moves. Below 50 RSI would knock the trade out pretty quick. Let me move this over. There we go. All right. I'm going for 215 still, so they're a little bit overpriced. All right, let me start typing in my order. Just all right, looks like 210 is the cheapest we can get these right now. Oh, did not mean to do that. So now you have a pretty clear 3-candle move. The bid ask on these is getting really bad though. It was 210 and 215, so. All right. We broke out of the range there a little bit. 2.1 and came right back above it. All right, so I'll place it in the order at 210. Too late now. So again, this is a lot easier to do with market orders. Could buy them at 218 now, but then that could trigger the downside pretty quickly. All right. I'm going to have the order ready to go at 210. What am I looking for when knowing to buy into a call or a put? So looking just at momentum, basically. Obviously, momentum is up with all these green candles. You're looking at RSI. It's well above 50. We were looking at it earlier, at least, and it was above 50. So just following wherever momentum is going. All right, I might have to put in my order a little bit higher at 215. All right, I'll have my order ready at 215. But yeah, so basically what you're looking for is 3-4 candles of consolidation. You try to buy in at the lowest price you can. So for this option, it would be between 210 and 215 ideally. And then you would ride the momentum up if it continues to go up. What is an at the money cost? Right now it's pretty expensive just because of implied volatility. At the money for SPY right now is $195 for the 412 call. It's a very high extrinsic value. How do you get to today's expiration date? It's in the settings. You have to allow for same day expirations. All right, here we go. Now we're at 210. So let me place my order in. It did not get filled there. I had to place it a little bit higher. 212, maybe. Oh, no. Looks like we're pulling right back after I close that. Okay. So now we broke out of the range. So now we don't have clear consolidation anymore. So that one probably, if that order did actually get filled, probably would have been your $100 loss. Again, this usually works about 50% of the time, so you can't rely on it. It's not going to make you profits very often, but the profits will be larger generally. But yeah, that was a solid pullback below this. And now we're looking at, you'd want to buy these at like 190 now, assuming that we're going to stay above this large green candle. Let me make sure to add my RSI just in case we do switch momentum. Right now we're still at 60, so still firmly bullish. So not really too worried on that front. They're really jacking up the premiums though. 210 for an at the money is very expensive. Oh, no, the real index, SPX, for at the money, let's see. At the money, you're paying $1,900 for the 4130 call right now. $1,920 at the moment. Good morning, Steph. All right. Assuming we stay below the lows, these are going for 2. So you would set your stop loss for 190, but I don't think that's going to hold. Looks like that momentum just reversed. 54 RSI. So you would want this to hold above this green candle, the open of it, at 411.90, and it's very, very close to it. These actually didn't get down to the 192 price that they were before. Let's see. There's still more 412 calls being bought right now versus 413 puts. I guess you would want to look at the 412 puts since we're trading right at 412 though. Lower volume on the open, but more volume in the past 15 minutes. That's what you're seeing. All right. Looks like we went above that. We dipped right below it with this candle low. So let me try to get in the order at 205. The lowest that these got was 195. So that would be my limit to the downside. All right. I'll place in my limit order at 205. Nope. Not yet. All right. I'll place it in now. 205 limit order for the calls. Don't think I'll get filled on it, but we can try. Oh, it did execute actually. Okay. So let me airdrop that to my phone so I can post an alert. And now we watch for 195 to close as our stop loss. $1.95. I opened 10 of them. 412, SPY call. Expiring today, 5/3 at 205. And now we wait for the momentum to go to the upside. Seems like we have a solid support. Now they're going for 210. So $50 profit so far. Hopefully we can carry into the momentum, but we are pretty choppy in this little range. Ideally, we can sell these at like 220 or better. But we want our stop loss to be at 195 just in case things start to go south on us. I guess I could set a stop limit order at 195. $195, and then hopefully we can get out a little bit higher, but $220 maybe. Now we're down to 195 already, so I gotta get out. All right. And that trade went against me very quick. All right, 190, I guess. We're gonna have to get out a little bit lower than my stop loss. And this is why you use stop losses instead of these limit orders with Robinhood. They're way too slow for this strategy to work well. Yeah. Very quickly went against me. All right, I'm gonna try to get out at 190. I'll just leave the limit order there. All right, I'm gonna have to take the 200 loss maybe. These just keep moving down very quickly. Not great. I'm gonna try to find a way to set limit orders rather than having to deal with this, because this is kind of annoying. Having to re-enter again and again. Yeah, I think it's dumped very quickly though. And of course I can't get out. All right, I'll get out at 180. There we go. Closes at 180 apiece. So next time we'll set a limit order there. Just cut losses for the 412 put. So unfortunately, it ended up being a much larger loss than what I wanted because of the stop limit order. It does not work. Yeah, the stop process is terrible. And that's why I prefer using TD as a better strategy, or a better platform for that strategy, just because it's a lot quicker. A lot quicker. But yeah, now we're below 50 RSI, so now you wait on a consolidation again. Buy call, sell call, or spread. Best choice. Yeah. Debit spread, credit spread, it really depends on where you're expecting the stock to go. Usually I choose out of the money options just for best risk reward for debit spreads, or best probabilities for credit spreads. S&P and NASDAQ at the money prices. Yeah, sure. SPX currently, let's see, 1860 for the 41.25 call. The put's 1920. NASDAQ, let's see, IndieX at the money is 68.60 and 78.30 for calls. So it looks like we're just at 50 RSI. We went right below it. So now we wait for another trend confirmation, either above or below 50. But yeah, we definitely got, definitely didn't hold that trend this morning for sure. Very low volume. Everybody's waiting for the afternoon. Yeah, probably. Most likely. I wonder if there is a way that we can set stop losses just with the regular options. Yeah, I think the only option you have is stop limits, which means that you have to place an upper limit and then your stop would be your lower limit. So Robinhood's just not the platform to use for this, unfortunately. Let's see if I can deposit some cash into this account. That would make it a lot easier for me. All right, so now we're starting to form a range again. Slightly bullish at 51 RSI. That's not too convincing yet, though. Not too convincing for me. Yeah, I did end up recovering back to 195, so Could have cut my losses a little bit shorter if I'd waited a little longer. But that red candle was pretty fat. Where do I think the markets will go this afternoon and tomorrow? So it's going to depend on if the Fed gives any guidance. If they do guide for further rate hikes, that would be obviously negative for the market. That's not what the market's expected. Yesterday, they fully priced out another 25 basis point rate hike after today. Today is going to be a 25 basis point rate hike. There's like a 90% chance. But there was about a 30% chance yesterday morning, and then those odds dropped to 0 by the end of the day. So if the Fed gives any guidance on further rate hikes for June and beyond, that would be very negative for the market. Yeah, stop limit is just not... I don't really like the stop limit order. Just because then you're capping your profits at whatever you're putting in the limit price. Whereas, like, if you're taking advantage of the momentum, there's really no telling what the options could go to. But yeah, momentum is back to bullish, 55 RSI. So now we can wait on some consolidation again and try to do that. Let's go back to SPY. The lowest that these got was 175. Now they're 195. Actually, 174 was the lowest price. Does kind of seem to be a little bit bearish if this is a new high out of it. But strictly just looking at RSI, it's right above 50, so it's slightly bullish. Consolidation is just when the markets kind of trade flat. So usually if you have like up and down at 50 RSI, like you're seeing for the past 5, 10, 15 minutes, that means that the markets haven't moved, right? So it's just been between 412.08 at the open of this candle down to 411.50, and now it's at 411.95. So basically just back to where it started. So if it's consolidating, it's just trading flat. So ideally what we want is for these candles to form some sort of, flatness. So for this candle to be, closing above 411.75 would be ideal for this, right? And then the next candle, if that's above 411.75, that's 3 candles of consolidation. You take the call, and then, the momentum would carry you if it's still above 50. So if you think that this candle is going to consolidate, you'd want to buy these for roughly 187, 185 a piece. FOMC impact today, up or down? Again, it depends on if they give any guidance. If they don't give guidance, that would be bullish. If they do give guidance, that would probably be bearish. All right. So this is our new range. You want to buy these calls at about 185 each. I'm going to wait on another 5-minute candle though, just in case we break range. Or if we break to the downside, puts might be the better option. Right now we're just trading right at 50 RSI. The calls are slightly more popular right now. So the flow is definitely bullish at the moment. So now if you want to switch over to the puts, since we're below 50 RSI, let me see what these will be priced. So ideally you would want to get these for around $2 a piece based on these open and close right here at $2. You have to be very quick with a strategy though. That's the tough part about it, and Robinhood is not a quick interface at all. But yeah, right now we're just below 50 on the RSI, so that's starting to be bearish. We're right at the lows from that initial drawdown, which put these options at about 230 a piece. So basically just using like a 10-cent stop loss and following whatever momentum is. So right now we're below 50 RSI. So ideally you would want to buy this in the range that it's been trading for the past 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes. You want to buy it, the options closer to the bottom of the range. So for these options, it would be like 200 a piece roughly. And then ride the momentum if it continues to ride. So buy these, say at like 210, between 200 and 210, and then try to sell them after it breaks out of the range. Or you can just sell them at the bottom of the range and flip them for like 230. But you have to be very quick with a strategy, which is the pain in it. All right, so now I'd probably want to move my order up to 210 apiece, just because we're getting out of range now. It's unlikely that we'll get filled. Backflip into a wheeled buy and hold. Yeah, definitely not a good platform for it. I would say the best platform to use for this strategy would be Thinkorswim, just because they have these buy market, sell market, to where you can get into the trade like that very, very quickly. That's what I've been practicing on, and can't really practice with Robinhood just because they don't have a system. They don't have a back testing system. But I've been back testing it through Thinkorswim for the past couple weeks of trading, and it's been pretty swell, I would say. You just have to be very, very strict with your stop loss and very quick with it. But yeah, right now below 50 RSI. So starting to be bearish. But these contracts are a little bit too pricey. Ideally, you want to get them in the middle of the range at least, or at the bottom of the range for the puts, which will be 200. And they're going for 220 right now, so you would be overpaying based on the range by about $20 a piece. Looks like our support level right now is our market open at 411.30. These contracts were going for 234 at open. So they've lost a little bit of time value to them. All right, these are getting down to 215. So starting to get a little cheaper, but not where I want them. All right, I think I'm gonna have to place the limit order at 215. Don't think we'll get it any cheaper. So I'll have the order ready to go and submit. What are the 4 things that I'm watching for trading? So I'm looking at RSI, Relative Strength Index. This will tell you if it's bullish or bearish. If it's below 50, right now it's below 50, that's bearish. If it's above 50, that's bullish. And then I'm looking at the price ranges that we find ourselves in. So for this, it's been a range for the past, let's see, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 minutes. Between about 412 and 411.30 as of right now. So assuming a break of the range to the downside, you would want to buy these puts at the cheapest price that they've been within this range, or close to the cheapest price that they've been. So like 215, and then you would want to follow momentum. So right now these are trading at 240, so that would be like 250 in profit if you were able to get them at 215. Ideally, you would want to get them at like 200 or 205, but sometimes you can't get ideal prices just because markets move very quickly. So now I'd probably adjust my limit price to like 224 based on the candles. And that would be about 411.50 for SPY. Right now it's trading at 411.11. So significantly below target. All right, so I have a limit order queued at 225 for SPY right now. The 412 puts. Pretty firmly below 50 RSI, currently at 43. Yeah, no problem, Dusty. Looks like UVIXI is actually catching a little bit of a rise, 2.5% today. Probably going to see a rise into FOMC just because people are, going to hedge their positions. If they're long stocks right now, they would probably want to buy puts, which is going to inflate the VIX. Currently, the VIX is up 2.7, 2.8% as of right now. So you'll see a rise going into the event, and then whether we continue to rise or fall for the VIX is going to depend on if they give any guidance again. Like I was saying, any forward guidance of more rate hikes would be bearish for the market, and if they don't give any forward guidance, then that would be bullish, I think, for the market. All right, getting down to 411 now. So usually I'll go with at the money options just because they'll be a little bit cheaper than in the money. This one's 195 right now. You would ideally want to get it at about 175 or 180. So we'll cancel this order. Place a new order for the 411s. But we're not really catching any breaks today. Usually you'll get a little bit of consolidation, but we really haven't seen any consolidation. We saw this, but then it ended up breaking down immediately. All right, this might be where we start some consolidation. 40 on the RSI, so bearish still in terms of relative strength. Now they're going for 190-ish. The strategy is a lot cheaper on non-FOMC days. The IV for these options is probably just through the roof. What platform am I using? This is Thinkorswim that I'm using for the charts, Robinhood that I'm using for SPY or for the trades. Let's see, 411. All right, we're just below 411. So now you're looking at the 411 puts. And those move down very quick, of course. Okay, well, guess we're not going to be able to get into these puts yet. But yeah, you can see these move very quickly. You could have got in at 190. Now they're going for 220. So if you waited for that break of the momentum, would have made a shit ton. But not able to get in with this set up with Robinhood. The 412 puts have gained a crap ton of value now. Everybody's piling into those, it seems. Market is fucked today. Yeah. No consolidation. This is the issue that I had yesterday too, but I made a profit off of it. Even though I probably overpaid for the options that I picked up. So this is the 411 puts I'm looking at. All right. So now they're getting cheap. If momentum keeps riding down, 195, 190 would be nice, but I don't think we'll get it. All right, we're gonna have to. There we go. 190 each. I'll have the limit order queued and then fire if it hits. The ask is 192 right now, so we can't get them yet. Last time they were trading at 180 was this candle, so you need let's see, 1, 2, 3 candles ago actually. So you'd need it to go back above 411.40 for that to hit the loss, stop loss. Not able to get at 190. I think I might have to overpay at 192. They're not being very nice with the bid-ask spread. All right, we'll put in 192 and then fire whenever that's ready. So now you have a consolidation going on, which is where you want to enter this. All right, I think I'm just going to get in at 2. They already jacked up the prices on them. 200. Stop loss will be 190. I think I got those. Yeah, they did execute. All right, there's a follow through, hopefully. And those are up $7 as of right now. There we go, 212. So now we can close out at like 215. Take about $150 profit, or we can try to ride the momentum further. These are going for 220. I think I'll take profits. If these hit 225 would be nice. Let's see. So again, you don't need a high win rate with this strategy, just because it's very lucrative and it has about a 50-50 win rate. All right. I'm gonna put in the order for 222. They just moved the bid down to 220. Okay. Can't be too greedy with a strategy either, just because it can turn around very quick. Start with 50 and moving up to 335 for options, including losses. Nice. Very, very nice. All right, 223 is what I'm going to close these at. Actually, let's see if we can ride this momentum. No. Momentum just doesn't want to break that low yet. Again, I bought those at 190 or 200. So my max loss would be 100 if I set my stop loss to 190. Got my order in over here for 190. I think this is actually a pretty decent setup. I can just swipe up if I want to cut losses or take profits on this here. We bounced right at 30 RSI. Inconvenient. All right. I think I might get out at 215 or cut losses at 190 again. Momentum is still bearish at 40, below 40. So that's in our favor so far. But we did just bounce off a 30 RSI. Sitting on the sidelines with FOMC. Can't blame you. A lot of volatility expected. And they imply volatility for options is through the roof. So you're paying an arm and a leg. And pretty much your entire soul for an option right now. Like these usually would be like $1 each, but they're trading for $2.15 just because of the anticipated volatility ahead of the FOMC. But yeah, this is ideal scenario for entry, right? You have this consolidation of the last 15 minutes or last 3 5-minute candles. You want to get in at the cheapest price at like $2 as of right now, and then try to close it at the bottom of the range, or if you can hold through the momentum, try that. But it's very hard to hold into this momentum when you're not getting any momentum. These are just going back and forth between like 210 and 215 right now. So like 100 or 150 profit so far. All right. Really just want to take profits at 215, but yeah, I'm going to do that. Actually, 216 got closed out at. Nice. So $160 profit. Could have held for a little bit longer and made profit off of it, but that's okay. Premium. Just took profits on the SPY 411 call at 216 each. Okay. That is not what I meant to do. Let's see. Did I buy those at 205 instead of 230? Or 200? Let's see. No, I bought them at 200 and sold them at 216. Okay. I was looking at the 412 puts. But yeah. You know, ideally, I could have held that option to 230 and wait for the break of the range just now, but you know, $160 of profit, nothing to scoff at. So I'll take what I can get. Theta Gang Kamikaze Cash Discord. I think I'm in his Discord, yeah. Yeah, right here. Don't really pay attention to anybody's Discord besides my own, honestly, but I'm in a lot of different Discords. Aries, what other ones? Small Street Bets, Tesla shareholders. Market Gains was really popular back in like 2021-ish. Will SPY continue to dump through the FOMC meeting? Usually what happens with the FOMC meeting is there's the rate decision at 2 p.m. and then Powell speaks at 2:30, right? That happens every time. And pretty much every time that this happens too, you see a reversal. So you'll see the markets going up at 2 p.m. and then reversing down at 2:30, or you'll see the opposite. Markets fall at 2 o'clock and then go up at 2:30. So basically whatever the 2 o'clock does, the 2:30 will do the opposite whenever Powell starts to speak. Yeah, it's the real market movers typically is the Q&A session, the question and answer that he holds at the end, because his speech is usually very scripted. It's pretty much the same from meeting to meeting. And then the Q&A is where you really see him kind of going off script. And that's when you get the volatility. VIX. Let's see what's the VIX at today. 4.5%. Yeah, yesterday it was up like 20% at one point. I sold some calls that I had bought earlier in the week at a profit for UVIXY. And I still have like 500 shares of UVIXY. I think the possibility of the U.S. defaults, I think by June 1st is what the Treasury Secretary said just a couple of days ago, Janet Yellen. I think the possibility of that, and if that does happen, that's when the VIX would really, really pop off. But the problem is that this happens pretty much every year, to where they're going to act like, oh yeah, we're not going to pass the debt ceiling. And then usually one side caves in. It seems like McCarthy is kind of gung-ho on it, but I really think that he's going to let off. I think that he's going to give in to the pressure, because the U.S. defaulting will be very huge for the markets and the bond market. Everything would like go to shit. Can you sell cover calls on UVIXY? Yeah, absolutely. Not the VIX, though. The VIX you cannot, unfortunately. All right, we might have another setup here. 34-hour side, so oversold almost. Bearish. You want to get these options at about 215 to 220. Right now they're going for 235, so likelihood of getting filled is pretty low there. But yeah, we could have rolled those options for another $200 profit, unfortunately. I'm usually one that takes profits too quickly, too soon. but I think we lost 200 just because we didn't have the stop loss this morning with the first trade, and then this one made us 160. So net, I am down $40 today, but next time I think I'm going to use the same setup that I had. So I have my phone over here for the stop loss, and then take profits was on my screen. That'll be a little bit easier, but I'm going to try to make the transition over to Thinkorswim just because the market orders that you can place are instant. And you don't have to fiddle around with typing in your limit order. But yeah, I think that's all the trades I got today. Make sure to log them in. April, we're in May now. So 2 trades this morning. Close the AMD from yesterday. If y'all want to download this spreadsheet, make sure to check out the premium Discord. Link should be in the description for this live session. And this will give you all the details of your trading, how much money you make on bearish or bullish positions, how much you make on options that expire versus options that are closed, how much you make per week, obviously how much you make for the month, and then this nice little calendar that'll show you how much profit you make each day. So AMD, we had a call credit spread, which is a bearish neutral strategy, expiring 5.5. I was assuming that it would be below 90. I opened just 4 of them for a credit of 43. Close them at a debit of 9. And then these 2 were both day trades. SPY. First one was a call. Long call. Bullish strategy. Expiring today. I bought those at, I think it was a 412 strike price. Let me check. 412. 10 of them at 205. Close them at 180. So that one, 250 loss. It should have been 100 if I had my limit order, but couldn't place it. And then the put, long put, bearish strategy, expiring today, 411 strike price that I got for 10 for 2 and close at 216. So 160 profit after 250 loss, and then 130 profit for AMD. So net today, I'm up $46. So hopefully next time we can set that stop loss so we don't lose 250. And tomorrow will be a better day. Yeah, thank you, Julio. Let's see, AMD, let's see. Trading at 82 right now, down to 8%. I wouldn't imagine that it would go to 78 until after the FOMC, maybe, and if that's bearish. But for right now, it's down to 8%. It's at the bottom of where it's expected to be for the end of the week. So I would assume pretty neutral, probably staying above like 82, but staying below maybe like 84.50 or something like that for today. The VIX is going up. Yeah, a little bit. Nice little 6% rise. Do I sell the spreadsheet? Yeah, it's available through the premium Discord. I'll link that here. So you have to join the Discord first, use the pinned comment right here, and then you sign up for it with this link. So it includes the trade alerts that I'm sending outside of the trading session that I hold with y'all each morning. So if I'm trading at like 3 p.m., y'all will be able to see that, whereas I won't be live during that time, usually unless it's FOMC day like today. And then a couple other things. There's a little options guide available. Let's see where it's at. Written options guide that I made with some videos for like key concepts. Obviously the trading journal. And then what other? You can ask for stock analysis and this little calendar that I have for any upcoming economic events. Yeah, no problem, Steph. I'll catch y'all tomorrow at, well, actually, that's wrong. I'll catch y'all at 2:30 today for FOMC. See y'all then, everyone, and good luck trading today. Do I have any long-term SPY holdings? No, I do not. Not as of right now. I would want a Leaps put option for SPY if it's trading closer to like 418, just based on the range that we've been in for the past month. That would be an ideal short scenario, I believe, especially with that Fibonacci level for SPY at 418. I think we're just going to trade range bound, and lower end of the range for the past month has been down to 404, so you can make a decent chunk of change off a $14 move for SPY. But yeah, that's all the trading for now, and I'll catch y'all at 2:30. See you, everybody.